It is run by fifth graders each quarter. I also like to watch my daughters Hannah and Sammy play field hockey, cheerleading, run indoor track, and play softball. I also love spending time with my grandson Benjamin.
Hi, my name is Giovanni Almaviva. I am in 6th grade and I go to Little Falls Middle School. In my spare time, I play basketball, baseball, and soccer. For baseball, we won the championships for Little Falls Local All-Stars, and I could do like a backflip on the ground, and I've been practicing that, so yeah. And I was in the BHA broadcast for 5th grade, and I like archery. And my favorite thing about the after-school EBD was staying after school.
Hi, my name is Abigail Farber. I'm a 6th grader at Little Falls Middle School. In my spare time, I like to play basketball, softball, and soccer. I am in the Little Falls Drama Club. My part is Kasim. I am one of Aladdin's friends. In 5th grade, I was also a BHA broadcaster, and my favorite part about staying after school was probably staying after school and getting to eat snacks.
Hi, my name is Lucas Manley. I'm in 6th grade at Little Falls Middle School. I like to play soccer, basketball, and baseball. My all-star team, which is also Johnny's all-star team, won the Little Falls Local All-Star Championship in the summer of 2019. And when I was in BHA, I was a BHA broadcaster. I liked archery, and definitely my favorite part about the EBD Grand Challenge was staying after school, eating snacks, and hanging out with my friends.
I would just like to say thank you to the Elementary STEM Council for this wonderful opportunity for myself and for my students. The Elementary STEM Council, which was formerly the ITEA's Children's Council, is an affiliate council of the International Technology and Engineering Educators Association. The Elementary STEM Council promotes technology education in the elementary school by supporting teachers with instructional materials and in-service monographs, workshops, and technology activity curriculum packages. The dues to the Elementary STEM Council includes a subscription to the Elementary STEM Journal. Please follow us on Facebook under Elementary STEM Council. When I first decided that I wanted to try the Elementary STEM Council's Grand Design Challenge, the challenge was to try and fit it into the school day. We had no time to pull kids from their core classes, so we decided that I would do it after school. I had originally decided to do it with 5th graders, but then I had decided that I would like some 4th graders to have the same opportunity. So I decided on 2 4th grade groups and 2 5th grade groups. We had a total of 15 kids that ended up staying after school. They stayed after school on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for about 75 minutes, and it was just for the month of November. So really just a total of 6 days to plan out and build and to present their Grand Design Challenge. When they first came in, we had to decide what they were going to be called. So we decided that they wanted to be the Bobcat Builders. The kids each were heterogeneously grouped within their grade levels, so they actually had an opportunity to work with kids that they wouldn't normally work with in their engineering by design classes. So that was a nice opportunity for them as well. Being that it was after school, it was a more relaxed setting. We had snacks, which they really enjoyed. Even if it was still a relaxed setting after school, the students knew that they had a job to do, they had a problem to solve, and that they had limited time to do it. So the Elementary STEM Council Grand Design Challenge last year was due mid-December. The kids were so excited. At the end of November, we gathered up all of their information. They did their video presentations. We took pictures of their journals. We posed for pictures. They watched each other's video presentations and they were critiquing each other, but in such a nice way, giving warm fuzzies to each other about what worked well, what did not work. And then they also decided on what things they didn't think were going to work and what they could do better the next time. This was all before we had even submitted any of the projects. Once they were submitted, about end of December, the kids started walking up the stairs every morning. Mrs. Young, have you heard who has won the grand challenge? Mrs. Young, did we win? Mrs. Young, did you hear anything yet? Well, lo and behold, once we heard in January that one of our groups had won, they were ecstatic. They were so excited. My heart was bursting because I was so proud of not only the Bobcat Binkies that had won, but I had also been so proud of my other three groups, I should say, because they were so receptive to somebody in our group winning that they were just giving compliments left and right. You guys did a great job. We knew you were going to win. That was a great design. And then you could hear them talking about what they could have done next time. So immediately following that, they were asking, when is the next challenge up? When is the next challenge up? Because they want to be a part of the next challenge. So I have fourth graders that are now fifth graders asking me now, when are you starting your after school group? Because we want to be part of that. It's really a good feeling when kids love your class, but when they want to come to school, after school, to do more projects and become a part of something magnificent that really makes you feel even better. You know that you're doing something correctly. And now I'd like to introduce Lucas and Giovanni and Abigail to help me out with this seminar.
So when we were doing our design challenge, we had to follow the engineering design process. So what we had to do is first we had to define our problem. So what our problem was is we had to dispense medicine to young children in a simple way. So it couldn't be like just a normal bottle or a normal dispenser that you squeeze to get the medicine. You had to create your own. So we had to generate ideas. So some of our ideas were like a cup that looks like something that kids would want to drink out of. So maybe what we were thinking was that we'd have a cup and there would be a straw that looks like it's going into the cup, but really it'd be going into the medicine in the back of the cup or the medicine in the cup. So they're still drinking the medicine, though they think they're not. We also had other ideas like our binky, which is where we cut holes in the top of the binky and then the parents can squeeze the medicine in, because lots of young children still use binkies, and so when they put it in their mouth and they suck on it, basically they're drinking the medicine. And
our first design was originally going to be a binky, which it still is, so we had to think of something else that she would not, because we had to think of something else to use, so because before she bought us the binkies, so we thought of a cup. And we put the medicine like inside the cup, like a little smaller cup inside the cup. Then we filled it up with juice to make them think it's juice. But then when they drink it, it's their medicine. So, and then when she bought us the binkies, we just used the binkies for our project.
So we had to write down our problem in our journals, and then we had to draw what we were planning to make, and also in our journals. So as you can see in one of the pictures, we had to, what we thought of was a cup that had some sort of animal that kids would like, especially younger children, and we had to abandon that idea because it kept leaking out of the sides, and the cup inside kept spilling, and So then we went on to, once we got the binkies, we went on to the binkies, and there were lots of fails in those, but we eventually got them to work.
Lots.
So when we finally got the binkies, we had to test our solutions, which is also part of our engineering by design process. So while testing our solutions, when Miss Young bought us the binkies, we had to basically figure out how to get them to work. And then we finally had to make them, so we had to cut holes in them and hot glue them a little, so there was a little bit of less leakage.
Every time we failed, we would start up a new idea, and we never gave up.
And when we failed, it really helped us to get better and realize that those designs didn't work and helped improve our future designs.
So when we failed a lot, we had to come up with new designs, or sometimes better designs or something. Sometimes it was super close to the one we did, similar, or sometimes it was way off and it was completely different.
While we started, well, not while we started, but when we were hot gluing them, we had to follow the classroom safety rules. So we had to wear gloves when we were hot gluing and not mess around with them. And we had to test our designs a lot.
And when we went over, we had to go and test them, and if it didn't work, we went back to go see why it didn't work.
And while we were back at the drawing board and trying to figure out something, we basically were all talking together and going, oh, well, we just tried this, and this probably isn't going to work if we do something similar to it, so maybe we should try this idea. So it was kind of more of going back and forth and going by what you did, by your mistakes, and figuring something else new. So when we were role-playing, basically what we had to do was we had to put ourselves in a situation where there actually was a kid, there was a parent. The kid was not upset at all, or sometimes very upset about taking the medicine. So most of the situation that we used were they were very upset about taking the medicine. So we did actually do role-playing on the floor with water, and we used other materials to basically give you an idea of what would work and what maybe wouldn't work when you were role-playing.
And these were definitely one of the funnest days because we didn't have to test all our inventions, even though those were really fun. This was definitely one of the funnest, excuse my grammar, but definitely one of the funnest ones because we got to evaluate what we were doing.
Okay, so when the engineering design process, so we had to evaluate the item. So what we did was Lucas was the baby, and so he got on the ground and he pretended to be the baby, and I was the parent, and we had to see how it would work out.
And we didn't just do that one time, but we did it many times, alternating who was the baby or who was the parent and what mood they were in.
Were you a cooperative baby?
No. I'm very proud about that too.
So when we presented, we were basically used to being in front of the camera because we were all in the Benton Hall BHA broadcasts.
And in EBD in general, even if it's not a competition like this, you still present to everybody. So in the engineering design process, that's presenting your results. So what we had to do is we had to write it down on a sheet of paper, and we decorated the front and other things, decorated nice and colorful. And then everybody had a different part and say in your group while you were doing it off the podcaster. And so we all had to say different parts of our presentation and work together to get our message through.
And we were going to have the words be on top of the podcaster, but we realized that it was too far away to see, and it would just be easier if we had the paper in front of us, and it would look pretty cool if we saw like our invention on the front.
ITEEA's Elementary STEM Council's second annual Global Design Challenge for elementary STEM students.
In 2008, the U.S. National Academy of Engineering identified 14 grand challenges for engineering in the 21st century. These grand challenges were designed to cause students and educators to think about solutions to big challenges affecting all of our lives. Following the Elementary STEM Council's first very successful Global Design Challenge for elementary age students in 2018-2019, we have a new problem for you to address in 2019-2020. The Elementary STEM Journal is sponsoring the second Global Design Challenge for elementary STEM to provide students with a chance to solve a real problem and show the world that everyone can help find solutions to these global challenges. Working with their teachers, elementary STEM students from around the world will work in small design teams to solve the Global Design Challenge outlined below. As students attempt to solve the Global Design Challenge, the elementary classroom teacher will document the process with a simple journal or portfolio that describes the problem-solving process, the products developed, results of the product market testing, as well as the final product pitch presentations. Photos and videos of proposed solutions will be posted on the Elementary STEM Council's Facebook site, and ultimately, the team with the most elegant solution to the Global Design Challenge will be provided an opportunity to present their solution during the International Technology and Engineering Educators Association annual conference in Baltimore, Maryland on March 11th through the 14th, 2020. A story about the winning team will also be featured in the Elementary STEM Journal. The second Global Design Challenge. One of the original grand challenges called for engineers to provide clean water that could make a difference for millions of people around the world. Currently, one of the largest threats related to water is called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It is a collection of plastic and discarded trash floating in the Pacific Ocean. Just type the words grand challenges into your internet browser for more information about these challenges, or type Pacific Garbage Patch to learn more about the pollution problem. When you decide that you want to tackle the Global Design Challenge, you have to give the students some background knowledge. The best place to start is going and finding some information about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is a collection of marine debris in the North Pacific Ocean. Also known as the Pacific Trash Vortex, the garbage patch is actually two distinct collections of debris bounded by the massive North Pacific subtropical gyre. One thing to do would to start talking about vocabulary words, like what is a vortex? What is a collection of debris? What could be in the debris? And then start with, where is the North Pacific subtropical gyre? The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to tell them exactly what the Global Design Challenge is calling you to do. This Global Design Challenge calls on you and your team to develop a product that might help keep the water cleaner and reduce the amount of trash floating in the Pacific Ocean and other bodies of water. Most conservationists agree that humans create too much waste and that actively reusing and reducing the number of single-use disposable products is the best way to reduce pollution problems. Talk with your students. Have them have conversations about things that they are using right now that are creating too much waste and different ways to reduce the pollution problems. One way that people are responding is by reusing drink containers rather than discarding plastic drinking containers after one single use. Have the kids show hands. How many kids are bringing in a new water bottle every single day? Or if you're using one of the ones that you refill at home. A large percentage of the waste materials currently floating in the Pacific Ocean and other bodies of water are single-use plastic waste. By finding viable and economically feasible secondary uses for plastic containers originally designed for a single use, we could substantially reduce the number of these items that end up in the water, thereby helping clean up our water resources. This is one way to get the kids brainstorming about different ideas that they could use those reusable water bottles for.
If you were going to do this grand Engineering by Design challenge, you'd have to follow the engineering design process. Your first step to following the engineering design process would have to be define the problem. Define the problem. To develop a product that might help keep the water clean and reduce the amount of trash floating in the Pacific Ocean and other bodies of water.
Your second step would be to generate ideas. So, write down what you need to do, draw what you think would work, and
And so next you would need to select a solution. So you would need to use the use the materials that you are given to make whatever you're trying to make.
The next step would be to test your solution. So by testing your solutions, what you'd have to do is you'd have to test out your design to see if it's a really good design, it would work, or if it's a fail and it's not very good.
And if it's a fail, you would have to learn from it and make a new one, and then just keep doing that until you get the one that you want.
And then next you would evaluate the item. So you would test which one's better and which one works more.
So your next step would be to present your results. So you would have to do a couple of dry runs to make sure you get confident in doing what you're saying, and then you would have to actually do it, whether you're presenting in front of other groups, the judges live, or just to your teacher recording it. And then the last step is have fun.
So just have fun, work as a group. As long as you're enjoying it, it's good.
And don't give up. Keep going.
There's some important things to remember when working on a global design challenge as a teacher. You have to keep asking the kids questions. Try not to direct them, but ask them why. Why do you think that this is going to work? Or how do you think that this is going to work? Is this going to work the best? Is there a better solution? You really have to step back and let them fail first. The kids have already found out that by failing, they're actually helping themselves. Sometimes they're like, oh, that didn't work. At the beginning of our Engineering by Design, when we first started, the kids really didn't want to fail, but now they realize that failing helps them with the whole process of coming to completion with a project. When you go back up to them, ask them more questions. How did that work? Did this work better? Does this work better? What about this? You have to encourage them, but don't do things for them. That was great. Keep going. Try not to give them ideas, but encourage them to think of them on their own. And also, have an abundant amount of supplies. We have a trash heap in our Engineering by Design classroom. If they don't have something, they can ask for it. Sometimes I'll say, no, we don't have it, but a lot of times I'll say, I can get it for you. Things that you wouldn't think of in a trash heap, they love to build with. I really feel like one of our main things that we do really well in our Engineering by Design room is asking questions and letting them fail. Because now they're asking themselves questions. How am I failing? Why am I failing? How can I make this better? So those are some important things to remember as a teacher. There's also some important things to remember when working on a global design challenge if you are a student. If you are a student, keep asking questions. You can ask them to your teammates. You can ask them to yourself. You can ask them to your teacher, but most likely your teacher won't give you the direct answer. They will guide you in a way where you are going to figure it out on your own. Work as a team. The better you work together, the better your global design challenge will be. Be a thinker. Thinkers try and solve problems on their own. Try not to look at other kids' projects. Think of things on your own. Become a problem solver. These are global design challenges. These are things that help us in the real world. Be a problem solver. And just be encouraging. Encourage each other. Work together. If somebody does something good, tell them that they did something good. When you encourage each other, not only does it make the other person feel better, it makes yourself feel better. And then you work together as a team so much better. Have fun. We would like to say thank you to ITEEA and the Elementary STEM Council for this wonderful opportunity. Learn more at www.iteea.org. Just remember, the application deadline is December 15th, 2019. I look forward to seeing all the wonderful submissions. Thank you.
Tracy and students, that was fabulous information that you gave us. We're getting ready to go into the Q&A portion, and I will read the questions to you. Do you have your students there with you?
I sure do.
Excellent, because the first question's for you, Tracy, but then there's some questions for the students. So how did Mrs. Young handle more than one team during this challenge at the same time?
Go ahead, Abigail.
It was really more, it was really more probably like, we know like her room very well because we do this like in first a lot is normally when we start, and in your normal EBE classes, there is a lot of kids already and already a lot of groups. So she kind of gets used to just handling a lot of kids at once.
Johnny, what do you think? How do you think I handle more than one group?
Just because like the rules in here, and kids like they know what the rules are, so they don't fool around and stuff.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Lucas?
I really think that she doesn't handle us. I think she guides us because everybody really respects Mrs. Young, so they don't really fool off.
Mm-hmm.
So they just follow the rules, so she doesn't have to handle us, she just guides us.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to tag on to that question, and I'll ask you this. Since there was more than one team involved in the design challenge and you were the grand champions, how did the other teams handle their disappointment?
It was more of so they were like, most of them we already knew, like just seeing them around school. So most of them were just happy that one of the teams in the actual school won, because it was really our first time ever doing this, Miss Young's first time ever doing this. So it was like a really big deal that one of the teams won.
Yeah, they were very appreciative of each other. They were very receptive to one group winning. They were, giving them high fives and complimenting, and it was a wonderful thing to see how great everybody was. It wasn't like winners and losers. It was like our school won and one of our groups won. It was like they were like one big group. So it was absolutely wonderful.
Excellent. All right, here's another question. Was learning from failure something that students were comfortable with before they came to Mrs. Young's class?
I mean, no, not really.
No way. No, not really.
Not even close.
No, our first year that we did it, failure was hard for them. They couldn't figure out how failing was going to make things easier.
They were like,
But
I failed, I messed up, I didn't do it right.
This is bad.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
Yeah, but now that they've come to grips with that, once you fail, you kind of figure out what you're doing wrong and to solve the problems. Like, it is just so much easier. The first year was more of a struggle trying to get them to accept failure, and now they just accept it as part of the engineering design process. Like, oh, I failed. What else can I do?
It just becomes like natural.
Like natural.
Yeah, like after a while you get used to it. In this room, it's like, I failed, it's fine. I have a couple more days. I get time, I can fix this, I can figure out what I did wrong, maybe improve this design.
They learn to help each other too with the failure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I honestly think that we wouldn't have won if we didn't fail.
Yeah, we failed a
Quite a
decent.
lot.
Yeah. We're going, oh, this design is the best. This is gonna work. We're not gonna fail. And then we get there and we're doing it halfway. And we're like, okay, this is
We
this
need
is
a
the
new
problem.
one.
This
Back
is
to
the
the
problem.
drawing boards.
This is the problem. Back to the drawing boards immediately.
Well, that segues right into the next question. It is, how many design attempts or revisions before the final solution was chosen?
Well, we
2
had
or 3.
I
there were
spent a lot of
3
money on
different-
binkies.
Yeah.
There was 3 different binkies, but then we had one design before that.
And we had like this weird cup thing. I don't even
Yeah.
remember what it was or
Yeah.
what we called it. It was just like, it was like we had the cup, we had it good, and then we were like pouring the water in, testing it, and it just literally went, oh, it's not gonna work. It's not, like everything was getting soggy, it was soaking up the water. And so then when we got the binkies, we we had to hot glue the binkies so there wasn't they didn't leak everywhere when you put the water in them. We hot glued like 1 or 2 of them, and it didn't work. And then we hot glued all the other ones, and they were fine. So, and then like we went back when that hot glue dried. We kept trying to re-hot glue it to make sure it would stay, and it still didn't work. So there's 2 or 3 bad ideas, or
Yeah.
just ones that didn't work out or go in our favor for this one.
Excellent. And students, will you be pursuing more STEAM classes in the future?
Yeah. It was really fun.
It was, yeah.
We have STEAM at our middle school too. We have STEM at our middle school.
Yeah,
Our science teacher does it.
Yeah, they're doing engineering by design in 6th grade. And our school district is actually right in the middle of a capital project right now where we are getting a whole new STEAM wing at our middle school and high school with all brand new stuff. And then we're getting a whole new engineering by design classroom built right onto our school here in the elementary school. So
It's going to be a
We
lot
are-
bigger too. So
yeah.
we'll have more space. We'll have
We'll
more
have
trash heap space.
more
Yeah.
space for my trash. So the kids are very excited about that too. So I think that they want another after school group though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be
Yeah.
really
We keep asking like, who are the new kids?
the
Can
new
we help you
kids?
pick? Can we
Yeah.
come in some days?
They want
Can
to come
we-
in and help
we-
with the 4th and 5th grade groups
Yeah.
that'll start next week after school for the next Grand Design Challenge.
I imagine they would make great mentors for
Yes,
the
I
elementary
Do you think that they
students.
would?
Yeah. Is there anything else? That's all the questions that we have received. Is there anything else that you all would like to share with us? Perhaps we know the deadline is December 15th, so there's probably some interested teachers on this seminar right now getting ready to look more thoroughly into it.
It's just kind of crazy because it's like you feel like when you do like the first week or 2, you're like, I'm good, I got all this time, and then like when you're through like the last couple of days and you're on like almost your last week, you're like you get really nervous because like I got to present, we got to figure this out, we have to talk about this, we have to make sure this is gonna work, and it's really just like it's just all like we were literally. When we were thinking like we're not going to win this, there's no way, like there's people from all around the world, it's international, there could be people from any other place that come up with a better idea than ours, and then winning is like we were like, wait, actually, like seriously, like you're not playing with us, we didn't come in second or something, like we were like, you're not joking around, because like if I like went home and was like, oh yeah, we won first, and I found out like she's joking around, I would have been like so upset.
Yeah.
Like so disappointed.
Of course you would, but you had an
Amazing.
opportunity to go to Kansas City.
Yeah, it was amazing opportunity for them to do this, and then just to win. You can tell they've put in their time, and the other students that were in the other groups, they also put in their time, and it was it was a fun
We had to
thing
redo
do.
that. We had to redo, like, we're speaking on camera. We messed up a
Yeah.
good couple of times
Yeah.
speaking.
The video presentations are
I know I
always
had
fun.
to redo it a couple times.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they watch themselves and they can see how they can make
Of course,
the
we
presentation
laughed
bigger.
at watching ourselves.
It was
Yeah.
fun.
It's like
It is
you're
fun.
watching yourself. You're watching. You can go through like, oh, this is a flaw. We could have done this better because like you already did it. So it's like you can't go back and change it. But like,
Yeah.
It must have worked.
Well, good.
it worked. So
Yeah.
We have a comment and a two-part question.
Okay.
The comment is, nice presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the first part of the question is, how do you assess student learning and student progress? Mrs. Young.
I watch how the kids are handling everything in the classroom. Like, I don't want kids to be stressed out about something that is making learning fun. So if I see that kids are stressed out about it, I can actually find out why. But watching the progress, I see progress from the time that they step in the door till the time that they leave. When we start our engineering by design building blocks, they start out on lesson 1, learning all of the background knowledge that they have. And then by the time that they're doing the presentations, like, I can tell that they have made progress. I can tell that they feel confident in their skills and working as a team, and watching the kids start out not knowing how to work together and then watching them support each other in problems and failures that's the progress that I want to see. I want to see team players and lifelong learners. So I really feel like assessing them and how they are handling the situation is something that you can just watch and see.
And are the students involved in assessing their progress?
Yeah.
definitely.
Whenever we record something, I always have them watch it to see how they are presenting. They've gotten used to, all grade levels, even kindergarten grade levels have gotten used to seeing the Padcaster up in the classroom and seeing it out. So they are so much less like shy about presenting. Kids that normally wouldn't want to present and stand up in front, everybody volunteers to do their grand challenge
Because
presentations.
there's like
they all want
how
to see
long-
themselves on
yeah,
camera.
how long we've been through classes too. Like I've seen kids that I know who never like they're always like, yeah, I'll answer the question. Like
Yeah,
they're not
super
really
shy.
they're not talking really.
Yeah.
But like I'll talk to them, they talk back quietly, and then like you see them up there presenting, and they're like, so this is what we like. They get really into it, and
They
I'm
take
just
pride
going,
in their
like,
work.
I'm like, where was this? Where was this during lunch? Where was this yesterday? Like, is this just where was this ever?
Yeah.
Ever.
Like,
They're proud of it.
I like seeing
They're
myself
probably
do
proud
it
to
so
get
I
to-
can see how much I improved from when I first started doing it.
Very good. And there is another comment to the panelists. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if you have anything else to add, students, that now is the time.
He's like, we got
before-
it. We're good.
Yeah.
I think if they could probably sit here and talk all night long about
Uh-huh.
it. If they would.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna- I'm going to thank you very much. There's another comment
Okay.
and this is a very good comment. The confidence level and ability to articulate their thoughts is awesome.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are pretty great. I like them a lot.
And another thing was like we had the lowest people in our group. We were
Yep.
3. There was everybody else is
Yeah,
4 or
uh-huh.
5. So it's like we were down.
You had to step up your
You're like,
game.
okay.
Oh,
We
you
had-
had the
we
least
had
number of
everything
people
wrong.
for your
Yes.
challenge.
Yes.
Okay,
You did.
very good. Well, I'd like to thank you very much again, students and Mrs. Young,
Thank you.
for being so informative and giving us such a great presentation. I'd like to invite everyone to join us next time, and that's going to be Wednesday, November 6th from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Literacy through the lens of technology. Recently, STEM has been added to the long list of literacies librarians support. This 1-hour seminar is filled with ideas for our librarians who would like to collaborate more with STEM educators in their building, district, and state. And I thought that I had one more comment, so just hold one moment. My phone is buzzing, and I think it was a nice comment. So if it's true, then I want you to hear it before we go. Katie De La Paz says, thanks to you and your students for doing such a great job on the seminar. They were amazing.
Thank you.
And with that, I want to say thank you, and we will end this meeting.
Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome.